Hey guys, it's me, Sylvia from Sylvia's Sister Diaries, but not here to talk to you today about endo or PCOS or anything dealing with gynecological issues. I'm here to talk about something that's important and long overdue. It's the problems we have here in America. As most of you already know, I'm sure, there's a case going on with Sandra Bland, and she's a 28-year-old African American woman who was arrested for no good reason and then found dead in her jail cell a few days later from a supposed suicide. Here's my problem. Okay. First of all, if you've watched the video footage from the dash cam, you can clearly see that she did nothing wrong. The cop kind of instigated the whole argument or whatever that was going on. He asked what was wrong and said she seemed irritated, and she told him she was and why, and he proceeded, "Are you done? Don't ask a question if you don't want an answer, even if it's not the one you want to get, first of all." Secondly, he proceeds to tell her to put out her cigarette in her own car, which she doesn't have to do. That's her private property. And he gets pissed off when she tells him that she doesn't have to do that and asks her to step out of the car. For what? I mean, that's basically what she said. She hadn't done anything at that time, and there was no reasonable suspicion or probable cause for her to have to step out of the car for it to be searched or anything. So, of course, she, like any smart person would have done, wanted to know why she needed to step out of the car and why she was being put under arrest or whatever. And he wouldn't give her that answer. He just continued to blatantly get rude and physical and try to drag her out of the car, which was just unnecessary. And of course, at that point, she did get pissed, and I would have too, because you pulled me over for failure to signal when changing lanes, which I did because it seemed as if I was in your way since you were tailing me. So, I mean, if anything, you should have written a citation or a ticket and let it be, be done. But no, you continue to instigate the shit. And when you didn't get the yes, sir response that you wanted, you got pissed and acted like a little bitch about it. So, once she is out of the car, then she slammed to the ground, and she states that she has epilepsy. She's stating that she's having problems hearing and that they're hurting her, but it continues to go on. And of course, I'm sure most of y'all have also heard the voicemail she left on a friend or family member's phone. And she was talking about, fighting back, standing up for herself. And to me, someone who's doing that isn't going to kill themselves. They're not going to commit suicide, especially in a prison, a jail rather, with a garbage bag from a 5-foot partition when she was over 6 feet tall. Just doesn't add up. And then the mugshot that she took. Most of the time when people are booked, they're booked in their clothing, but she was already in a jumpsuit. Furthermore, the background, that's my issue as well. The background, the walls of that jail are a beigeish, creamish, tannish, whatever you want to call it, color. The background in her mugshot is gray, as is the floor of the jail cell. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that people take selfies or anything on the floor in jail. So, I'm wondering, which I know that a lot of America is, was she already dead? And that's what it seems like, because by looking at her pictures, you don't see up her nostrils. You just don't. She has dreads, and anybody with dreads or hair, for that matter, knows that when you're standing up, whatever, your hair is going to fall forward. When you're laying back, it goes back. Your nostrils, you can see up just like this. So what does that tell you? And then I have an issue with things that I've seen on my timeline. I do wholeheartedly believe that everybody has the right to their opinion, and that as adults we should be able to agree to disagree. But I can't fathom how anybody can sit there and justify this cop's actions and the death of this woman and say that she deserves what she got. What the hell is wrong with you? I mean, if it was your family member or you, would you be saying the same thing? And growing up and still now to this day, I've been told, you're not like the average black woman. Why? Because I speak properly? So because of that, I'm whitewashed or bougie or think I'm better than everybody. No, I'm educated. That's it. And it shows. Sorry if you don't like it. But it's kind of been, unfortunately, it's been an advantage in my life because when people meet me, they don't necessarily stereotype and classify me as they do most African Americans, which I can't stand because when it all boils down to it, yes, I'm all about equality and I think that we're all, most importantly, part of the human race, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that I am an African American woman. So, with that being said, I've seen some pretty vicious, disgusting things on my timeline, and people are trying to, justify what this cop did, and this woman deserved it. She should have just followed orders, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but are y'all watching the same footage that I'm watching? What did she do wrong? I don't get it. Yes, I mean, of course, she started cussing. I would have too at that point because I'm being apprehended for what? For failure to signal? Or no, wait, what was it? Resisting arrest. I'm sorry, I'm not resisting arrest if I don't know what I'm arrested for. We have the right to know. I'm sorry, but we do. And it kills me. You know, people are all like, you're making this a race thing, pulling the race card, race baiting. No, I'm calling it how I see it. I'm sorry that when it all boils down, I'm a black woman in America, and I know what I've experienced personally. I know what my brother has experienced personally. I know what my family and my friends have experienced personally. And I'm not saying that other races don't experience these things, but it's evident that there's a problem with racial profiling and prejudice in the criminal justice system. I mean, the stats show that itself. Look at death row, for instance. Death row, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just pulling it off my head, so my numbers are probably a little off, but I know that they're close and they're pretty accurate. Death row is comprised of 46% African American, and yeah, it's 46% African Americans and 44% white, something like that. And people are like, well, see, that's proportionate. That's about half and half. Negative. The fact that while it may be about half and half, doesn't make sense because the United States is only 13%. Only 13% of the United States is made up of African Americans. So please tell me how that's proportionate. Yeah, you can't. But anyway, it's bothering me because it's been going on for far too long, and I hate that I've waited till now to speak out on it, but if I don't, it's going to continue to be worse. And there are people on both sides that I feel are wrong. There are some people, some black people I see who say, hey, F the police and we should kill them all, kill all white people. That's not the solution. And then there's white people who are like, oh, all these black people are just overly sensitive and blah, 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 race baiting, all this stuff, trying to stir up controversy. That's wrong too. Reality is that this is going on right now, and it's been going on for years. And regardless of the civil rights movement and, you know, the Civil War and everything that's happened in history, we still have a race problem in America. And furthermore, we have a problem with police. Anybody who knows me knows I support police. I fully do because I'm a criminal justice major. I have a lot of friends and family who are law enforcement officers, but I don't support corruption. And while corruption does occur within every job, career field, it's really bad right now among police. Police brutality, abuse of power, corruption, profiling needs to end, and it needs to end now. And I don't care if I lose any friends over this because, I mean, when it all boils down to it, it's still going on. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's not. That's why I choose to become a part of the solution. If I sit around and do nothing, then I'm a part of the problem. But if I take a stand and advocate and speak out and go to school and become an attorney, which my heart is set on becoming Attorney General of this country one day, I become a part of the solution because it's not fair that only criminals get prosecuted, quote unquote, for heinous crimes or whatever, nonviolent, but yet police, law enforcement are put above the law. All lives matter. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, all lives. Gay, straight, Christian, Muslim, all lives. And if we don't take a stand now, then in about 20 years, we'll have no progress. And our children, our future, will be lost. So, I know I'm only one woman, but I vow to do whatever I can to change things. Like, I have my own battles, and everybody knows that. But through it all, God has seen me through with my education. I still graduated in May with highest honors, even through struggling with daily pain and not knowing if I was going to be able to get out of bed on a daily basis. And I know that He will continue to see me through law school and when I make it all the way to Attorney General. But it's not even about position for me. It's about change. Being the change that I want to see. Being the change that we need as a country, because we're supposed to be a superpower type of country, and it doesn't look like it right now. And the sad thing is, people are always talking about ISIS and the KKK and the new Black Panther Party and, you know, those terrorist groups. But they don't realize, like I said, not all cops are bad, but there is a problem with law enforcement. And law enforcement are sometimes domestic terrorists themselves. Anyway, I don't care who likes this. I don't care if it gets shared or anything, but I just wanted to give y'all my opinion on things and the way that I see them, and hope that maybe one day it won't be like this. Maybe, just maybe, police will start doing their jobs, which are to protect and serve. Because I don't think it's right that even as a law-abiding citizen, you have to fear the police. Granted, like I said, I love them and have the most respect for them. And there are good ones, great ones. But I think that one of the problems is, and I don't want anyone to take this offensively, I think that police officers should be required to have a higher education. Most police departments hire out with just a high school diploma or GED with the police academy. And while the police academy is great and it, you know, teaches you the basics and everything, weapons training, whatever, there's a need for a higher education, at least an associate's in criminal justice, because that's where they're going to get the better foundation for ethics and how to deal with people. And I feel like if they had a more ethical background and held a level of higher integrity and standard, not only for themselves and in their subculture, but for their communities, we'd be a lot better off. And if we start putting officers, you know, pairing officers, I said this in one of my papers this year, why not put a black and white cop together, or an Asian and black, or white and Hispanic? I think it'd make a difference. And I think every 6 months, law enforcement officers should have to go through some kind of progress report type thing, you know, like a evaluation to make sure that they're on their P's and Q's, just like a lot of us have to do in other jobs. But I'm done. I mean, I'm disgusted. That's all I can say. I'm disgusted. It makes me sick to my stomach. It's heartbreaking. It makes me want to cry, because this could have easily been me. This could have easily been one of my best friends or relatives. It could have been any of us. So, yes, I don't know this lady at all, but it could happen to any of us. Thanks, guys.